We turn our attention to Mid-American Conference basketball MAC tournament right around the corner. Let's welcome Todd Simon, a Bowling Green State University men's coach, into the show. Todd, congratulations. You qualified for the MAC tournament, so you're in third season with Bowling Green. 3 straight years in that tournament. How important is that for the program and where you want to get it?
Yeah, very important. You know, every year we're just trying to, continue to make progress. We feel like our culture's been strong. We have a lot of new faces every year, but we've been able to retain some guys, this year that were some very good leaders for us. But 3 straight years, it's something that we're proud of, and it puts us in a position, to compete for championships, and that's part of our goal.
You mentioned guys back. You also have, I think it's the 3rd straight year that you've had 10 newcomers. How big of a challenge is that, getting everybody kind of on the same page and moving the way you want, playing Bowling Green basketball, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge, but nothing that we're not accustomed to at this stage. We've had it usually means if guys are moving on and kind of moving up leagues and all that sort of thing, they've done a good job here and performed at a level that makes them attractive in this modern era of kind of free agency. So for us, most importantly, it's just about finding the right guys and developing and staying part of our culture and doing what we do, and then ultimately we put the pieces together and compete. And so this group's embodied what we want Bowling Green basketball to be, and now hopefully we're playing our best basketball here toward the end of the year.
So one of the guys you talked about that return that's playing really well, Javante Campbell, 19 points a game, 5 assists a game, leads the MAC with over 3 steals a game. What have you seen relative to growth? I mean, obviously he's a really good player. How have you seen him get even better?
Yeah, I mean, he has. That's the underrated part of his game. It's just how much better he's gotten. Obviously last year, kind of a relative unknown, a guy that we really were enamored with in the recruiting process and was really important to us, and because he fit our system, he fit what we did, and then we got here, we realized just how special of a human being and a worker he is. Last year he plays through 2 broken hands, and becomes a 3rd-team all-league guy with very limited capacity but an incredible pain tolerance and all that. And then this off season we get to really see his development take off. He's really shooting it well, and kind of expanded his game to be a well-rounded point guard, one of the assist leaders in the league and nationally, but obviously his ability to score is off the charts. And then he's one of the best defenders in the nation. I mean, he's on the Naismith kind of final list for Defensive Player of the Year, and the only mid-major to be so. So that kind of tells just how high his motor runs.
How good of a defender is he? Those 3 steals a game, better than tops in the country.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy who leads the nation and country now, kind of by a wide margin. He is, and it's not like teams are giving it to him. Teams are scheming. They're trying to move him away from the ball. They're trying to keep him away from any of the action because they know how dangerous he is. And that's probably the best compliment he can get, is his teams are scheming to keep him away from the action. And when he picks up the ball full court and turns guys, and it delays teams' offense. I mean, he's just such a disruptor and a special player at that guard line.
Another guy that you have that's back, Sam Towns. He's from Central Ohio, Pickerington Central, so down Columbus way. 6th season of college basketball. What does that experience and leadership do for the Falcons?
Yeah, he's got maturity about him. He loves BG. He came back for his 4th year. That you don't see that very often anymore. And so he had some unfinished business. A guy that's had some tough breaks last 2 years with injuries, but he's fought, and he fought to get back on the floor. And this offseason, he put the time in to kind of rehab and be back to a better version of himself. And he's shooting it so well. That's something that we really value, is the ability to knock down shots, but also be a versatile defender. And he gets 15 rebounds, 11 in the second half on on Saturday, it just tells you how devastating he can be on the glass.
So you could end up with the 6th seed, somewhere between 6 and 8. You're currently in the 6th spot. What's the message the last 2 games? How important is that seeding? I mean, once you get to Rocket Arena in the MAC tournament, we've seen anything can happen. But what's the message this final couple of games?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to finish strong. I mean, we the scenarios kind of put us anywhere from as high as 5th. A couple cards play out, and so we're trying to position ourselves right into a sweet spot, because in the MAC tournament, there's no double buys or any of those type of things. It's 8 teams with a fresh lease on life, a new season, and it's about who's playing best, at that point of the season, and then we feel like, when we're at our best, we're one of the better defensive teams in the league, that we think defense travels, rebounding travels, toughness travels, and on days where your jumper may not be falling, we hope that those qualities are things that can carry you through a 3-day event.
Todd Simon, thanks so much for the time and the insight. Best of luck as you make it to Rocket Arena here in Cleveland and battle through that MAC tournament.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're excited to be there.
Time to take a look at the Mid-American Conference men's basketball standings on the road to Cleveland and Rocket Arena and the MAC tournament. We mentioned Bowling Green, one of 6 teams that has punched their ticket to that tournament. Miami, Akron, Kent State, Toledo, Ohio, and Bowling Green are all in. Anything can happen this last week, as teams are still fighting for their chance to enter that Mid-American Conference tournament at Rocket Arena. Our game of the week on Saturday, a spot could be on the line for Central Michigan. They have to go to Muncie, Indiana to play Ball State. Chippewas beat Buffalo on Saturday to keep their hopes alive. They're led by Tamario Adley. Ball State has won back-to-back games and will end the season against Western and Central Michigan. Back in January, the Cardinals beat the Chippewas 68-67 in Mount Pleasant. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Sports for CLE. We will see you back here tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow at 4 on Sports for CLE.